going to be getting married, and she's waiting right now for the nurse in Act 2, Scene 5, for the nurse to come back. And she wants the nurse to, give her all the news and the details. Because imagine, like, your nanny is in charge of communicating between you and your boyfriend, and everything that he's told her is now, she has it. She has the hot tea, and you want her to spill the tea, right? But have you ever been around a friend who knows they have something good, so they're gonna really draw it out? Like, I heard something about you today. What do you think it could be? Well, anyway, nice weather we're having. Yeah, no, oh gosh, my nails. Oh, you wanna know what I heard about you? Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you in 1 second. Right, it's kind of like just drawing it out. You're the center of attention. Oh yes, and I forgot to have you guys put your phones up, but it's too late now, so thank you for not looking at them. I so appreciate that. All of a sudden, all of you were like, wait, we have our phones with us still? But thank you for not even being tempted, because this is so interesting. So Juliet is very frustrated, waiting for the nurse to come back to the house. It's been 3 hours, and she should have been home by now.
Oh, the clock struck 9 when I did send the nurse. In half an hour she promised to return. Perchance she cannot meet him. That's not so. Oh, she is lame. Love heralds should be thoughts which 10 times faster glides than the sun's beams, driving back shadows over luring hills. Therefore do nimble-pinioned doves draw love, and therefore hath the wing swift Cupid's wings. Oh, now is the sun upon the highmost hill of this day's journey, and from 9 till 12 is 3 long hours, yet she is not come. Had she affections and warm youthful blood, she would be as swift in motion as a ball. My words would bandy her to my sweet love, and his to me. Oh, but old folks, many feign as they were dead, unwieldy, slow, pale, heavy as lead. Oh, God, here she comes. Oh, honey, nurse, what news? Hast thou met with him? Send my man away.
And the nurse comes, and she's gonna, like I said, she's gonna drag this out. Oh, Peter, stay at the gate.
How, good sweet nurse. O Lord, why is thou lookest so sad? Thou news be sad, yet tell them merrily. If good, thou shamest the music of sweet ears by playing it to me with so sour a face. She's like, oh my gosh, why does your face look like that? If you have bad news, tell me with a good face. I can't handle it. And you know what? If you have good news, shame on you for looking with such a sour face when you're telling good news. Good news should be said with a good face.
I am a-weary. Oh, give me leave a while. Oh, fie, how my bones ache. What a jaunt have I. Like, jaunt is like I had to walk so much, right? I'm exhausted.
I wouldst thou hadst my bones, and I thy news. Well, I wish I could give you my bones so that your bones wouldn't hurt, and that I would have the news that you are keeping from me so hard right now. I wouldst thou had my bones, and I thy good news. Nay, come, I pray thee, speak, good nurse, speak.
Jesu, what haste! Can you not stay a while? Do you not see I am out of breath?
How art thou out of breath when thou hast breath to say to me that thou art out of breath?
How are you out of breath when you have enough breath to tell me that you're out of breath? She's like, oh my God, I know what you're doing.
The excuse that thou dost make in this delay is longer than the tale that thou dost excuse.
The excuse that you're making is taking longer than the thing you need to tell me.
Is thy news good or bad? Answer to that. Say either, and I'll stay the circumstance. Let me be satisfied. Is it good or bad?
Well, you've made a simple choice. You know not how to choose a man. Romeo, no, not he. Though his face be better than any man's, yet his leg excels all men's, and for hand and foot and a body, though they be not yet talked on, yet they are past compare. He is not the flower of courtesy, but I warned him as gentle as a lamb. Go thy ways, wench, serve God. What? Have you dined at home? So she's like, oh, you don't know how to choose men. He's not the flower of courtesy like Paris was. You know, your mom spoke so highly of him, and I still agree, Paris, he was the best, right? But, you know, he's pretty good. He does have his hand. It's pretty nice. His legs, they're pretty nice. And hey, wait, did you have lunch without me? Juliet's like, are you kidding right now? We're talking about food. What, am I getting married today or not? Just tell me, right? So she's like, what? Have you dined at home? No, but all this I knew before. What says he of our marriage? What of that? Lord, how my head aches. What a head have I? It beats as if it would fall to 20 pieces. Oh, my back. Oh, the other side. Oh, my back. Be true your heart for sending me about to catch my death with jaunting up and down. Oh. Ay, Faith, I'm sorry that thou art not well. Sweet nurse, tell me, what says my love? Your love says, like an honest gentleman, and a courteous, and a kind, and a handsome, and I warrant virtuous, and... Where's your mother? Where's my mother? Why, she's within. Where should she be? How oddly thou repliest. Your love says, like an honest gentleman, where is your mother? Oh, God, ladies dear, are you so hot? Marry, I come up, I trow. Is this the petulance for my aching bones? Henceforth, do your messages yourself. Here's such a coil. Come, what says Romeo? Have you got leave to go to shrift today? I have. Then hie you hence to Friar Lawrence' cell. There stays a husband to make you a wife. Now comes the wanton blood up in your cheeks. They'll be scarlet straight at any news. She's like, oh, you're blushing now? Girl, tonight your cheeks are going to be even redder. They'll be straight scarlet at any news. Hie you to church. I must another way to fetch a ladder by the which your love must climb a bird's nest soon when it is dark. I am the drudge and toil in your delight, but you shall bear the burden soon at night. Go, all to dinner. Hie you to the cell. High tide, fortune, honest nurse, farewell. And so that last part would be very like body, like acted out, and the nurse would be very, have a lot of gestures when she'd be talking about how like, girl, you think you're blushing now? Psh, wait till your wedding night. Your cheeks are gonna be a lot redder. And then she's like, oh, I'm the drudge and toil in your delight, but you shall bear the burden soon at night. Like, I'm gonna go get that rope ladder that I'm supposed to get so that Romeo can get to your bedroom. Oh, I'm sweating and doing all this hard work now. But you're gonna work pretty hard tonight, girl. So I'll let it slide. Okay, so then the next scene is a very short scene, but a very beautiful scene, 2.6. And it has a lot of really good messages in it that I think we can take from, especially as, you know, high schoolers and just people who plan on being in love or who are in love or who one day will be in love, whatever it is, it's very applicable. Whether you're 14 or 40, I am neither. Friar Lawrence is blessing the marriage, you know, the area that they're going to be married. One clarification, Friar Lawrence cell, a lot of people hear that and they think, wait, someone's in jail? What? I thought we just finished Mockingbird. Where there's a jail now? No. Cell, think cell like cellar. It's like a basement. So like in the church, the priest would live there too, and his quarters would be on premises, and then his office would usually be in the cellar. And so they're kind of using his office as like a meeting place because no one's gonna bother them and go in there, right? So Friar Lawrence is blessing it. So smile the I'm gonna do my Friar Lawrence voice. So smile the heavens upon this holy act, that after hours with sorrow chide us not. So he's blessing it. And he's kind of saying, please, God, bless this so that after we do it, there's no sorrow that's making us kick ourselves for doing this. but we know that obviously that's exactly what's going to happen, right? We're on page 109, 2.6. So smile the heavens upon this holy act that after hours with sorrow chide us not. And Romeo, he doesn't even care about like the process, you know, he's just like thirsty AF, and he's like, come on, let's go. Amen, amen. But come what sorrow can, it cannot countervail the exchange of joy that one short minute gives me in her sight. Do thou but close our hands with holy words, then love devouring death, do what he dare. It is enough that I may but call her mine. And it's like, he loves her, yes. I believe that he does love her, or he thinks he loves her, right? But whether it's love or lust can only be understood through time. And if you look at the timeline, it's really important to understand the timeline of this relationship. So direct your attention here. I'm see if you can see. Okay, so there's a party at the Capulet's house, right? And he says when they are leaving the party, when Capulet is saying goodbye to everyone, he's like, by and by, it's so late that we may call it early, meaning that it's already like morning time, right? So that means the party ends probably around like 12 to 1, right? If he's saying that it's already basically morning time, then the party ends, right? And so they met like right before the party ended, right? Maybe like 20 minutes before. I mean, he was like watching her, and you remember he arrived super late to the party. That's what we learned in earlier on. So, you know, they talk for 20 minutes or something, talk for 20 minutes. Then the party ends at 12 or 1 a.m. Then he's watching her from the balcony, and it's the whole balcony scene. And that's when he's leaving, you'll see, at least in the film, it gives us some hints, because there's like a rooster crowing and the sky's starting to lighten. But when the sun rises is like when you start to see the first kind of change in the sky, you know, 4 or 5 a.m. So the balcony scene probably like ends around like, you know, 5 a.m. at the latest, right? And then remember, do you guys remember when she's frustrated that the nurse hasn't come home yet? What does she say? She's like, oh, it's been 3 hours. What time was it that she was like annoyed? It's already, do you guys remember? Well, let's go look back and see. I'm not gonna tell you. We're gonna figure it out together. I'm gonna pause it. So 12 hours between meeting around midnight. Let's say they met at 11 p.m. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Well, at 11 p.m., they're just meeting for the first time. By 5 a.m., they've been making out on her balcony. By 9 a.m., she's sending her nurse to go get the deets on the wedding. By noon, she finds out that she's going to be marrying him in a couple of hours. And by the mid-afternoon, she's going to be married. And that's what we're going to read in 2.6. It's a pretty fast relationship. Even for back then, right? Seems a little extreme. So, Friar Lawrence, some of the advice he gives is kind of ironic almost, in the sense that he's giving advice to people. He's going to say that you really need to like attack love in a slow way, and like that like the best relationships are ones that take it slow. But like you're marrying someone who's known each other for 12 hours. So in a way, isn't Friar Lawrence also kind of complicit in this? Like he's the adult here, right? If someone were to come to me, right, and you guys are freshmen and you were like, Miss Tucker, can you get your officiant's license for $29.99 and marry us in the Universal Life Church? I'd be like, what? No, I'm calling your parents. What's going on? You need to, there's a lot going on at the house that needs to be addressed. Let's have a meeting or something, you know? But did Friar Lawrence do that? No, he's like, I'm gonna do this in secret. This could work. This could fix all my problems. And it's not like he's like this evil person, but he's trying to sort of kill two birds with one stone, right? Okay, this Romeo guy is bothering me. He wants me to marry him. You know, I love this guy. He seems happy. And this relationship could actually stop the fighting in Verona. And then we wouldn't have people dying all the time. And my congregation would probably be happier, because then, you know, they're not mourning the losses of their uncles and, you know, fathers and stuff. So when he does this, he kind of does it in a selfish way, you know, like it's not really the brightest thing. So, okay, so back to 2.6, sorry. We're on page 109, and Romeo, he says that no matter what happens, his love can protect him. Like, no, not death. Love can't protect you in death, right? So he says, you know,
Do thou but close our hands with holy words, then love devouring death, do what he dare, it is enough I may but call her mine. And Friar Lawrence says, these violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die like fire and powder, which as they kiss consume. The sweetest honey is loathsome in his own deliciousness, and in the taste confounds the appetite. Therefore, love moderately, long love doth so. Too swift arrives as tardy too slow, right? When two strong things love each other, right? Fire, gunpowder, both great entities on their own. You put them together, explosion, right? And he's really cautioning them against when you go into love so violently, when you love violently, these violent delights have violent ends. When you're like, I love you so much. I love you so much. Let's get married. Yes, screw our friends, screw our family. Let's go elope. Yes, this is a great idea. We're going to have babies. We're going to love each other forever. Yes, I love you so much. You're so hot. What's your middle name again? When's your birthday? How many siblings do you have? Favorite color? Cat or dog person, right? It's like these violent delights have violent ends. And if you think about it, okay, if you just are saying all these words, I love you, okay, words are powerful, but they don't have long-lasting consequences. Maybe you could go the next week, oh, I love you, Rosalind. Oh, I love you, Juliet. But for Juliet, if she decides to actually get married and consummate the marriage, right? I mean, you can get pregnant the first time, right? And she's already of that age where she's able to have a baby. So if she's going to make this decision with Romeo to marry him, she's also kind of making a decision to like have his baby. And that's like a sin that only she can hold on to, and that Romeo's not gonna kind of have to follow. So, okay, so these violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die like fire and powder, which as they kiss consume. The sweetest honey is loathsome in his own deliciousness, and in the taste confounds the appetite. Therefore, love moderately, long love doth so. Too swift arrives as tardy too slow. Here comes the lady, oh, so light of foot, will never wear out the everlasting flint. A lover may bestride the gossamers that idles in the wanton summer air, and yet not fall, so light is vanity. Good evening to my ghostly confessor. Romeo shall thank thee, daughter, for us both. As much to him, else is his thanks too much. Ah, Juliet, if thy measure of thy joy be heaped like mine, and thy skill be more to blazon it, then sweeten with thy breath this neighbor air, and let rich music's tongue unfold the imagined happiness that both receive in either by this dear encounter. Conceit more rich in matter than in words, brags of his substance, not of ornament. They are but beggars that can count their worth, but my true love has grown to such excess that I cannot sum up half of all my wealth. And Friar Lawrence is just watching these two lovebirds, thirsty AF. Come with me. We shall make short work, for by your leaves you shall not stay alone, till her holy church incorporate two in one. Okay, so that's like the last part of the happy one, the happy scenes where we're all laughing, and it's a romantic comedy. Remember that this is the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet, not the comedy of Romeo and Juliet. Shakespeare had there's really three types of plays, and Shakespeare sort of invented this. There's comedies, tragedies, and histories. Comedies are the ones that end in a wedding, and they're funny, and they always end in a wedding. Tragedies always end in what? What would a tragedy end in?
Death.
What's your death party?
What?
What's your death party? Funeral, right? So there's always a party at the end of it. It's just whether it's for a death or for a wedding, right?
I am
They put the fun in funeral even back then. That's what we're gonna do at the end of the year for like our last day. We're gonna have a funeral but fun for Romeo and Juliet. Because you're not supposed to have parties in high school. You know, it's a very serious academic environment. So we have to do it through a lens of academia. So we're having a funeral for Romeo and Juliet, and there'll be food and it'll be fun. Yeah. So Act 3 is where all the negative stuff starts to happen, and you're reminded, oh yeah, this is a tragedy. Page 115. We're going to kind of skip through this because a lot of it's, we'll be watching some of it. So Benvolio is walking around with Mercutio, and remember, they have gotten a letter from Tybalt earlier on, and Tybalt was like, "Dear Mercutio, I saw you were at my party last night. I'ma kill you for that, so I'll see you later in the square. Bye. Love, Tybalt," right? And so Mercutio was like, "Oh, he threatened my life. Where's Romeo? He needs to fight him for me. He needs to like answer back, like he needs to back me up, right? Where's my best friend? Oh, he's off with a lover. Oh my gosh," right? He says he says something like stabbed in the heart with a white winch's butt shaft, which is just a funny insult. I think we'll see it, yeah. Okay, so I pray thee, good Mercutio. So they're walking around, and Benvolio is worried because he knows that Tybalt is walking around too, and he doesn't want them to run into each other and start fighting. "I pray thee, good Mercutio, let's retire. The day is hot, the capels are abroad, and if we meet, we shall not escape a brawl. For now, these hot days is the mad blood stirring. Thou art like one of those fellows that when he enters the confines of a tavern, claps me his sword upon the table and says, 'God, send me no need of thee,' and by the operation of the second cup draws him on the draw when indeed there is no need. Am I like such a fellow? Come, thou art as hot as a jack as thy mood, as any as Italy. Come, thou art as hot as a jack in thy mood, as any in Italy, and as soon as moved to be moody, and as soon moody to be moved." So they're just going to kind of go on about how Mercutio's like, "You're worried about fighting? Aren't you the one who like goes into bars and starts fights for no reason? And you're going to tell me about fighting?" So let's skip a little bit, skip to the next page, 117, where it says, "Enter Tybalt, Petruchio, and others" on line 36. Benvolio says, "Oh, it's exactly what he was worried about, right? By my head, here come the Capulets." And Mercutio, he's like, "Let's do this." He's kind of like, he's not like Tybalt in like that he's so hateful, but he's a class clown who doesn't really know when to stop, right? And just like all of the rest, he's full of testosterone and he's bored, and this has been a long, ongoing thing, just like high school. By my heel, here come the Capulets. By my heel, I care not." And Tybalt sees them. "Follow me close, for I will speak to them. Gentlemen, goodeen, a word with one of you." "Ha ha! But a word with one of us? Couple it with something, make it a word and a blow." "You shall find me apt enough to that, sir, and if you'll give me occasion." "Could you not take some occasion without the giving?" "Mercutio, thou consortest with Romeo." "Consort? What, dost thou make us minstrels? And thou make minstrels of us? Look to hear nothing but discords. Here's my fiddlestick. Here's that shall make you dance. Zoons, consort." And Benvolio's like, "My gosh, we're going to get in so much trouble right now. We talk here in the public haunt of men. Either withdraw into some private place or reason coldly of your grievances, or else depart. Here all eyes are on us." And Mercutio, he doesn't care. "Men's eyes were made to look. Let them gaze. I will not budge for no man's pleasure, I." And then Romeo comes in, and Romeo's just gotten married. He's on cloud 9, right? He's like psyched. He's about to have his wedding night tonight. And he doesn't know, Tybalt doesn't know it, but Romeo's now actually legally related to Tybalt, right? Because Tybalt is Juliet's cousin. So if Juliet's Tybalt's cousin, and Romeo just married Juliet, now Romeo is Tybalt's cousin. So Tybalt doesn't even realize that he's related to Romeo right now. He's still mad about that party. And Romeo's like, "That party was 12 hours ago. I'm on a whole nother plane right now." 12 hours, right? That teaches us a lot. So Romeo comes in and Tybalt is like, "That's the person I really want to talk to." "Well, peace be with you, sir. Here comes my man." "But I'll be hanged, sir, if he wears your livery. Marry, go before to field. He'll be your follower. Your worship in that sense may call him a man. Tybalt, the love I bear thee..." I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Tybalt is what he is saying this. "Romeo, the love I bear thee can afford no better term than this. Thou art a villain." And Romeo, he's just, like I said, on cloud 9. Tybalt. "The reason that I have to love thee doth much excuse the appertaining rage to such a greeting. Villain am I none. Therefore farewell, I see thou knowest me not.
Like, oh, Tybalt, had I not just married your cousin, I'm about to go to bed with her, I'd be really mad that you called me a villain. But I'm gonna forgive you for this one. Therefore, I see you don't even know who I am. I'm gonna let this one slide. Boy, this shall not excuse the injuries that thou hast done me. Therefore, turn and draw. I do protest, I never injured thee, but love thee better than thou canst devise, till thou shalt know the reason of my love. And so, good Capulet, which name I tender as dearly as mine own, be satisfied. And I would expect Tybalt's like, why? What's like with this whole 180, you know? Mercutio, meanwhile, is listening to this like, are you kidding me right now? That's how you're gonna talk to the guy that just threatened my life? You're gonna be nice to him? Coward? Wow. I thought I was friends with a man, not a coward, or any of the other misogynistic words that we could replace that word with, right? And so he says, oh, calm? Dishonorable. Vile submission. Alice Staccato carries it away. Tybalt, you rat catcher, will you walk? So he's like, Romeo, why are you acting calm? Acting calm is dishonorable. You're submitting, that's vile. Oh, calm, dishonorable, vile submission. And then Alice Staccato carries it away. They put in the notes that could be something like, that could be a nickname for Tybalt because he's really good at sword fighting, and like Alice Staccato would be something they do in fencing. I mean, sometimes you just got to skip over lines that you don't get and try to get the full, the full message. Tybalt, you rat catcher, will you walk? And he's taking out his sword. And Tybalt is like, what wouldst thou have with me? Good king of cats, nothing but one of your 9 lives that I mean to make bold withal, and as you shall use me hereafter, dry beat the rest of 8. Will you pluck your sword out of his pilcher by the ears? Make haste, let mine be about your ears, ere it be out. And Tybalt has his sword out now. I'm for you. Gentle Mercutio, put thy rapier up. Romeo is like, let's not fight. And Mercutio is like, we're doing this. If you can't be the man and fight him, then I'll fight him. Because there's honor. This is my reputation. I don't want people to see me, think I'm some sort of coward. Come, sir, you pesado. And they start fighting. And Romeo, this part, it happens really quickly. But then, like, in the film, you'll see it's more drawn out. Romeo pulls out his sword and he said, draw, Benvolio, beat down their weapons. So he's trying to break them up. Gentlemen, for shame, forbear this outrage. Tybalt, Mercutio, the prince expressly hath forbid this banding in Verona streets. Hold, Tybalt, hold, good Mercutio. Romeo attempts to beat down their swords with his sword. And like, imagine like if 2 people are fighting and then he puts his sword in between, and Mercutio and Tybalt, they both go to like move his sword away, like get out of the way, And in doing so, Mercutio gets stabbed underneath Romeo's arm. Like Tybalt's like, get out of the way, Romeo. And when he thrust his sword went through Romeo's arm, like under his arm, into Mercutio's like heart. And so now Mercutio is seriously wounded, right? Romeo attempts to beat down their rapiers. Tybalt stabs Mercutio. And then all the people are like, oh my gosh, what just happened? But they're not really sure like how serious it is. Petruchio, which is one of Tybalt's men, away, Tybalt, we gotta get out of here. Like, this is, you're gonna get in trouble for this. And Mercutio is mortally wounded. I am hurt. A plague on both houses. I am sped. Is he gone? And hath nothing? What, you're gonna let him leave? I'm hurt? Screw your houses. You're gonna let him just go? You're gonna let him get off like this? What, art thou hurt? Aye, a scratch. Mary, 'tisn't up. Where's my page? Go, villain. Fetch a surgeon. Courage, man. The hurt cannot be much. No, 'tis not so deep as a well, nor so wide as a church door, but 'tis enough 'Twill serve. Ask for me tomorrow, and you shall find me a grave man. I am peppered. I warrant for this world. A plague on both your houses. Zoons, a dog, a rat, a mouse, a cat to scratch a man to death, a braggart, a rogue, a villain that fights by the book of arithmetic. Why the devil came you between us? I was hurt under your arm. I thought it all for the best. Help me into some house, Benvolio, or I shall faint. A plague on both your houses. They've made worms meat of me. I have it. And sell me too. Your houses. So now Mercutio's dead, if you couldn't tell. And Romeo is like, I just watched my best friend die. And he was killed by Tybalt, who's my cousin now, because I love his cousin. Oh shoot, Juliet. Oh my God. What is gonna happen right now, right? And so he's really mad at himself. This gentleman, talking about Mercutio, this gentleman, the prince's near ally, my very friend, hath got this mortal hurt in my behalf, my reputation stained with Tybalt's slander. Tybalt, that an hour has been my cousin. Oh, sweet Juliet, thy beauty hath made me effeminate, and in my temper softened valor's steel. Oh, I can't believe that loving you, I was such like a weak person. Oh my God, I've been such a woman. I've been so effeminate. Why didn't I fight Tybalt? That was my fight. Tybalt wanted to fight me, and Mercutio was the one who took that on. I should have been the one who was stabbed, if anything. And then I tried to break it up, and then he was hurt under my arm. Oh, I have to do something about this. I can't just let this slide. And Benvolio is like, oh, Romeo, Romeo, brave Mercutio is dead. That gallant spirit hath inspired the clouds, which too untimely here did scorn the earth. And Romeo says, this day's black fate on more days doth depend. This but begins the woe that others must end. Great, today is going to be the first day of many black days. This day begins the woe that now other people are going to have to fix this, tie this up. Oh, here comes the furious Tybalt, back again. Alive in triumph, and Mercutio slain? Away to heaven, respective lenity, and fire-eyed fury be my conduct now. Now, Tybalt, take that villain back again, that thou latest gave me. For Mercutio's soul is but a little way above our heads, staying for thine to keep him company. Either thou, or I, or both must go with him. He's like, you're walking up to me right now in triumph when my best friend is dead. Forget lenity, forget being polite. Now fire-eyed fury is my conduct, is what's guiding me. Remember how you called me a villain earlier? Take that back again. Because Mercutio's soul, and this is a really beautiful line, Mercutio's soul is but a little way above our heads. Can you imagine when someone dies, their soul kind of like rises above them, and it's almost like the soul's like watching the fight happening, and it says he's staying for thou or staying for thine to keep him company. Either thou or I or both must go. He's waiting for someone to keep him company. It's going to be you, or it's going to be you and me. We're gonna fight now, because this is something that I can't just let happen. I should have been the one fighting. Either thou or I or both must go with him. Thou wretched boy that did consortest him here shalt with him hence. This shall determine that. And they're fighting, and Tybalt then gets stabbed, and he dies. Romeo! Away, be gone, the citizens are up, and Tybalt slain. Stand not amazed. The prince will doom thee to death if thou art taken. Hence, be gone away. Oh, I am fortune's fool. I am fortune's fool. Like, what have I done? This is like, how has all of this happened? And Benvolio said, what dost thou say? And Romeo exits. Why dost thou stay? Like, why are you staying? Like, why are you here? Go, run. Romeo leaves. The citizens come in. Which way that ran he that killed Mercutio? Tybalt, that murderer, which way ran he? Benvolio said, he's right there on the floor. There lies Tybalt. And the citizens say, up, sir, go with me. I charge thee in the prince's name. Obey. They're trying to arrest Tybalt for killing Mercutio, right? Tybalt's dead. You can't arrest him. And the prince comes in. Now, the prince, he is neutral, just like Friar Lawrence. But as it was mentioned a little bit earlier on, he's good friends with Mercutio. You know, and it's like if you kill someone that, like, the principal's best friend. It's like they're neutral, but they're still pretty annoyed that you killed someone's best friend, you know, like principal's probably a bad example, like, you know, but if you are doing something that is illegal, that's one thing, but you're doing it illegal to someone that they love, that takes on kind of a personal note, and it's sort of hard to separate that, right? So Tybalt is lying there dead, Mercutio is lying there dead, and the prince comes in and says, where are the vile beginners of this fray? And Benvolio is trying to explain, oh, noble prince, I can discover it all. The unlucky manage of this fatal brawl. There lies the man slain by young Romeo that slew thy kinsman, brave Mercutio. And Lady Capulet comes in. Tybalt, my cousin! Oh, my brother's child! Oh, prince! Oh, cousin, husband! Oh, blood is spilled of my dear kinsman! Prince, as thou art true, for blood of ours, shed blood of Montague! Oh, cousin! Prince. I always sometimes when I'm really into it, accidentally read the person speaking and not their line. The prince says, Benvolio, who began this bloody fray? And Benvolio is going to just try to explain it. I don't think I need to go, like, I'll read it, but I don't need to interpret it because you'll understand it. Tybalt here slain, who Romeo's hand did slay. Romeo, that spoke him fair, bid him bethink how nice the quarrel was, and urged with all your high displeasure. All this uttered with gentle breath, calm look, knees humbly bowed. Could not take truce with the unruly spleen of Tybalt, deaf to peace. But that he tilts with piercing steel at bold Mercutio's breast, who, all his heart turns deadly point to point, and with marital scorn, with one hand beats cold death aside, and with the other sends it back to Tybalt, whose dexterity retorts it. Romeo, he cries aloud, hold, friends, part! And then swifter than his tongue, his agile arm beats down their fatal points, and twixt them rushes, underneath whose arm an envious thrust from Tybalt hit the life of stout Mercutio, and then Tybalt fled. By and by, but comes back Romeo, who had but newly entertained revenge, and at two they go like lightning, for ere I could draw to part them, was stout Tybalt slain. And as he fell, did Romeo turn and fly. This is the truth, or let Benvolio die. And Lady Capulet, remember that's Tybalt's aunt, Juliet's mom. He is kinsman to Montague. Affection makes him false. He speaks not true. Some 20 of them fought in this black strife, and all those 20 could kill but one life. I beg for justice, which thou, prince, must give. Romeo slew Tybalt. Romeo must not live. And the prince is like trying to figure out what's going on, who should be punished for what. Romeo slew him. He slew Mercutio. Who now the price of his dear blood doth owe? And Montague, Romeo's dad, not Romeo, prince. He was Mercutio's friend. His fault concludes but what the law should end, the life of Tybalt. You shouldn't punish Romeo. Tybalt killed Mercutio. You would have killed Tybalt for killing Mercutio. So Romeo's fault, the thing he did bad, just concludes something that the law would have done anyway. So his fault concludes but what the law should end, the life of Tybalt. And the prince, he's thinking and he's decided. And for that offense, immediately we do exile him hence. I have an interest in your heart's proceeding. My blood for your rude brawls doth lie a-bleeding. But I'll amorous you with some so strong a fine that you shall all repent this loss of mine. I will be deaf to pleading and excuses. No tears nor prayers shall purchase out abuses. Therefore, use none. Let Romeo hence in haste. Else when he is found, that hour is his last. Bear hence this body and attend our will. Mercy but murders, pardoning those that kill. So he says, let Romeo hence in haste, else when he is found, that hour is his last. I will let him live I will not kill him for killing Tybalt because Tybalt killed Mercutio, but he is never to be seen in Verona again. If I see him, that's the last hour that he lives. And so now Romeo, he's not being put to death, but he's being exiled. He has to leave Verona by tomorrow, right? And what a 12 hours it's been, right? It's not even nighttime yet, right? It's not even dark, and it's already 2 people have died.